starts out as Temujin. That was his original name.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, you know, people always.
What he did was Temujin was, I think he was held captive for years by another Mongol king, and then he escaped and he gathered up all the other tribes together and fought that king and united all the Mongols at one point. And he covered Western Europe into China, all of northern India, Southeast Asia, almost got to Japan. But he launched an invasion of Japan that became the kamikaze. And the hurricane came and destroyed his fleet, and that's why he never got to Japan.
So, I mean, you know, I think anybody that, you know, hears the name Genghis Khan thinks about, you know, impregnating a lot of women. So, I mean, tell me about that.
Well, that was one of the things that was one of the tenets of his conquering was the constant sperm injection to every woman they ever saw. And of course the lower classes were gang raped, but the upper classes, you know, like Genghis Khan overcame many kings. A lot of those kings had daughters, you know, so they all became his wives.
So you're saying they're just going around just raping and pillaging anything they could?
Once he got all the tribes in line, then he wanted to expand. So as he expanded, a lot of the things he expanded, he was expanding other tribes like the Mongols, but that weren't Mongols. Like eventually he ruled the Tartars, you know. He ruled the people of Eastern Europe. He ruled Russia for a quick minute when Russia was in its infancy. And then, you know, when he died, and his burial place is a mystery. It was a kind of burial where they took him out into the mountains, and they buried him, and then they killed a third of the men off, and they dug him up again, and 2/3 of the men took him to another place to bury him. And when they buried him there, they killed another third of the men.
Wow.
And then they uprooted him and took him to yet another place to bury him for real. And that last third of men, they knew they were dying. Okay? But they were dying with their emperor.
Jesus Christ, man.
And his grandkid conquers China at one point. The Yuan dynasty. He conquers the Yuan dynasty, and he is Kublai Khan. Okay, at that point, China, instead of being very introspected and anti-foreigner, at that point in time, for some reason, there were a lot of layers of society in China. You know, a lot of outsiders and a lot of people. You know, I mean, Kublai Khan was not Chinese, and he was ruling the Chinese. He was Mongol all the way.
Well, I mean, what would you say about Genghis Khan's run with women? What would you say about it?
What does an emperor do with women? He puts his dick into a different woman every night, doesn't he?
Borderline porn star, but also borderline rapist or rapist, right? I mean, I don't know. It's like you're kind of making me say it differently.
Well, you got to understand, some of his wives went willingly,
right?
As being married to the boss was a good deal for them, and that helps to align all the tribes. So he marries and makes babies, grandkids, for all the tribes leaders. right? And he's related to them now. So he ensures loyalty that way,
Yeah.
you know.
Expanded his family out.
Way out. There's people still to today, I forget what it is in Asia, it's like 1 out of every 4 or 1 out of every 6 people have bloodline that leads back to him.
Right. Where's that at again?
In China.
In China?
Yeah. In China
Yeah.
and Mongolia, that whole area there.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I don't know, just you hear these stories about some of these guys, like if Eazy-E never would have gotten AIDS, he probably would have been up there in Wilt Chamberlain numbers and looked at that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, these ladies, man, they get all this pussy, man. So
is Eazy-E dead?
Yeah.
And did he admit that he got AIDS from a gay man?
No. I think what happened was acupuncture. And like a conspiracy. That's what it seems like nowadays, that his kids are all talking about it.
Really?
That's what it seems like, yeah.
I don't see how acupuncture could do that. Must have been a dirty acupuncturist.
Yeah, somebody that might have been...
Scumbag.
Somebody that might have been linked with somebody that didn't like him in the rap world.
Because my friend Tommy Doyle got off of cocaine use using acupuncture.
Yeah.
And every time he went there, they would bring out a fresh set of sealed needles. And that's how they are. They break off the plastic top, and you could only handle the needle by the butt.
Yeah. But that was after, I mean, this was like, what, 95?
Pull it out and sterilize. Yeah, this is about the time he did that.
This is around the time they started doing that.
Well, in any case.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's dead from that, huh?
But his kids also say that, like, it was, like, funny stuff with the hospital stuff. I know that we've talked about the hospital stuff.
Yeah, well, there's hospital stuff going on. But who knows? Like you said, for somebody to get AIDS, usually contracted. I've very rarely heard. There was some kids that got them from blood transfusion, and a woman in Florida who got it from her dentist. Because for some reason his hand had it. It was on his hand or something. I don't know. Some shit like that.
Yeah, you're right though. Most of the times I've ever heard about it, it was from,
Nobody's using it as a weapon that I've ever heard of.
Well, that's, yeah.
Unless now, when AIDS first started.
Yeah.
All right, and people realized what it was and knew they were going to die from it. There were those AIDS people who said, "Oh yeah, I'm going to fuck everybody I can."
Right.
And gave them all AIDS.
Right. Highway to hell shit.
Highway to hell. AIDS is a disease. HIV is the virus.
Yeah, it's crazy. Magic Johnson lived all this time.
That's because Magic Johnson did not follow the protocols of the medical society. He went holistic, and they managed to abate it in him.
Yeah, because you got to imagine when something comes out that's new like that.
Okay, so the AZT, remember that was the last thing you ever heard of that they were using for AIDS patients, AZT?
To be honest with you, I'm not that hip with all that.
So, AZT is supposedly the drug you give people when they acquire AIDS. One of the first side effects on the list of side effects for AZT is you get AIDS.
Wow.
In other words, it can give you AIDS.
Wow.
Right? So if you're HIV and they give you this vaccine that's supposed to be AZT, it's supposed to kill the AIDS, the HIV, the virus in you. No, it doesn't kill the virus, it activates it and makes you sick. Okay? That's one of the side effects. It's like the first side effect.
That's pretty fucked up, man.
Fauci killed fucking 500,000 people with that fucking AZT.
Yeah.
Because this guy Fauci, remember they were talking about hydrochloroquine? for the COVID, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you know the reason those people died when they gave them hydrochloroquine? Yeah, because they gave them like 1,400 cc's of it, which is like 5 times the fatal dose, right? You're only supposed to use like 100 milligrams of it, not fucking like 1,500 milligrams of it.
Well, that's how, like, you know, we know somebody up here with the, you know, the Himalayan crystal salt, man. You know what I'm saying? An unnamed person.
The crystal salt.
You know what I'm saying? You got
crystal salt that says it comes from the Himalayas on the label, but really comes from a salt mine under Utah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because that salt is in Utah as well.
Whatever it is pretty good. I will say that.
I like it. I accept it as salt on food.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's decent.
It's good in that sense.
Yeah. I mean, you know, since I was a kid, I liked salt.
If you listen to vegans,
yeah,
they'll tell you you don't need salt.
Right.
Salt is bad for you.
Rastafarians too.
Everything needs salt. Okay, animals in the woods find salt sticking out of the dirt. They lick it because they know they need it.
I tend to actually not really go with the food restrictions, but I do tend to go with the plant-based stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like the food, when people start restricting food, to me, that's not what America's about. But then when you start finding out what America is about, which is putting a bunch of shit in food, then it becomes like a different ballgame.
It's not even putting stuff in food anymore. Now they're just growing it bad. You know what I'm saying? The next step in that genetics line of, oh, we got to keep the insects off it, is how long, by changing it genetically, can we have a tomato sit out in the store? 6 months? A year? Okay? Now, when you go buy a tomato, if I pointed and said, take that tomato there, that one's a year old, you wouldn't take it, would you?
I wouldn't take it.
Well, that's what all this genetic fumbling is about. It's trying to get
the shitty product in people's hands.
Impervious products, so that you have no loss. Everything is gain. There's no such thing as a bad tomato because it went off. No, yeah, okay.
It's really, let me grab one.
I didn't take it.
Well, you know, with that stuff, I do have to say it. The vegan stuff has come a long ways in my time because I was one of the ones that was really caught up in the food stuff, and now I'm out.
Listen, organic.
Or out as much as I can be.
Organic is the way to go. My grandfather had a garden in the backyard. All right, of which when I was a young boy, we ate food from that garden. All right. Now, you can go into a store and look for a peach. All right, you'll find a peach, a big peach is about that big, all right? Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
A 2.5-inch peach, right? The peaches that grew on my grandfather's tree were like this. All right?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen a peach this big?
Pretty big.
That's a pretty big fucking peach.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had the greatest peach. He had a fig tree in the back.
Yeah.
He had a vine.
Yeah.
He had a grapevine. They used to make wine. And he grew things like, you know, he grew peppers and he grew fucking this and that, you know, to go along. Grew oregano, fresh basil right there. So you're cooking up something, right? And
this thing's gonna fall. This thing's gonna go off at any minute. I'm just telling you.
And you're making a sauce, and you've had the sauce on for 4.5 hours, and now it needs a little more basil. And you walk out the door. You right there. The tree is there.
Yeah.
Take the basil. You rip it up in your fingers, and you drop it in the bowl. That is the way to eat. That's organic. Okay. So when I was a kid, organic food, this processed food wasn't as far along as it is now.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of
Same with me.
Almost everything is fucking processed.
Everything has been accelerated while the information came out, and then which this now caused certain people to ascend and certain people to descend, and I think that's kind of what's happening with Trump. Like he descended, and a lot of other people
Trump didn't
ascended.
go anywhere, believe that.
He missed the train, man.
You know what I'm saying? He didn't go nowhere. Trump.
Yeah.
He's still around, and you're going to see he'll be there 2022, and in 2024, if he don't run, a Trump clone's going to be there. One of his clones.
You're one of these new Republican scum. What's up, Chris? How you doing?
Okay,
What you doing with the helmet?
I gotta pick him up. Pick him up at camp. He's gotta wear a helmet. You never know what you're gonna run into.
Cubby Forbes.
I had a look at that footage. It's really good.
Was it good?
Yeah, I downloaded it. It's digitized now, you know. So all I gotta do is just go in and edit it now.
Nice.
That's the hardest part, getting it off the phone.
You know, it's crazy. I like working with other film guys, like the way that we've done what we've done. My friend Alan's like that too.
Yeah.
It makes it easier when you got like 2-3 guys on it, man.
There was a good rapport there too.
Yeah.
You know, man of wisdom.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt about it.
Harry, did I tell you, in some Indian tribes, you weren't considered really of much use until you were 55 years of age.
Wow.
Yeah, you know that, Perry? You weren't in a set Indian, Native American Indian tribe, you weren't considered of any use knowledge-wise or, you know, to contribute to the community until you were 55.
Oh, right. Yeah.
At least.
Yeah, well, for you to be able to have absorbed all you need to know to survive.
Whatever fucking happened to that wisdom? Youth is king today.
They put it into a phone that everybody puts in front of their face, and they look at it, and they keep the knowledge to themselves, and they think their shit don't stink because now they're smart.
You know, you just summed up my experience with my daughter. She won't tell me nothing, fucking nothing. Even if it's something I need to know, she won't tell me. I'll see you guys later. Go get him.
All right, Chris.
Have a good one.
Yeah, good.
Keep on keeping on.
Good stuff, brother. Well, like what we were talking about before, like with how some of these ancient kings were like 9, 10, 15, 16 years old.
Oh yeah, well.
I mean, that's kind of like
even
crazy,
when they were
you know?
that age, they had wives.
You coming out or?
No, I just want to
cracking it, yeah.
have a cigarette, so I want to open the door to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, there was European kings that took over at like 8. You know, of course they were kings only in name only, until somebody decided, well, hey, you know, he's only a kid. Let me kill him, and I'll take over the town. You know? And that, a lot of times that happened to the little boy kings, is unless they had like a good
RB or something.
a good uncle or a good female aunt that was royalty that could be regent for them and wouldn't like stompulate them.
I could see the Native American thing that Chris was saying, just because, like, you know, you gotta get to a certain level of understanding life before you can really ever be considered someone's mentor, really, you know?
Well, yeah, that might not be everybody's tribe who said that.
Yeah, of course.
But, you know, it sort of makes sense that you should be mature enough to be handing out wisdom.
Yeah.
You know, even maybe if you didn't use the wisdom you learned, you know. So like I try and hand a little wisdom out that I learned, but I never used it myself. You know, if I had, maybe I'd be more successful than I am right now. We'd be doing this in my house instead of like, you know, your car.
Yeah. What do you think this town needs? What do you think Woodstock, New York needs?
Well, somebody told me a new restaurant opened up down here in the next parking lot over, you know.
Really?
Yeah. where the Bank of America used to be.
Okay.
I wanted to take a look over there.
Yeah.
Probably go there in a little while. But what does this town need? This town needs a budget meal place. You know. But they got one. Let me tell you something. They got one in Kingston.
Yeah.
This place you can go get breakfast and lunch. It's only open for breakfast and lunch. But you walk in, you see what they got, they serve it to you, and you say thank you, and they say thank you, have a good day. And you walk away and eat.
Yeah.
It's free.
Yeah.
Why isn't there one of those here?
Yeah.
It's a kitchen. They're cooking food.
They probably think y'all too country. Nah, I don't know.
But Kingston is 13 miles from here. Okay. I don't know how country you want to be. Kingston is in the country too.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I always go back to this, and I'm not trying to, like, you know, make the town seem like this or that, but I always thought a dance club would be nice here, man, just for people to lay their head, you know?
Dance club?
Yeah.
You mean a disco?
No, you know, like a standard, you know, gentleman's club, titty bar kind of thing.
Oh.
In the wood, you know, backwoods, not out in the middle of town, but
here.
I think that would just make sense, man.
No, you won't find that here.
Saugerties, right? Or
no, there's not one.
Isn't there one down? There's one on the other side of Saugerties. I forget what it's called.
Over in Berkeley Heights, you mean?
Is it like Asa Club or some shit? Not the New Paltz
Oh, I know
one.
where it is. Remember you said yesterday you go by the Speedway, you make the left?
Yeah.
Go all the way up to 32 where 23 comes off of that.
Yeah.
There's a split there by the Big Belly Deli. And right in front of you, at the fucking split, is a topless bar.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Not too far from here.
A topless bar.
13, 14 miles from here.
Yeah, it's like, it's an interesting time with all that stuff going on, too. Just to speak on that, it's like, you know, the 2010s was a big decade for the strip clubs.
What?
Yeah, Atlanta tearing it up. Like, you know, they're breaking records down there musically, and like all the girls are making mad bread. So it's just a good spot for all that. And then it's like it's being mimicked now in other cities.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like you know, these girls are kind of having a rock star moment.
Industry is very big.
Yeah. The girls get the rock star moment, make some bread, and I don't know, it just seems like it's a resurgence on that. And then now, after COVID, a lot of them were on the front line during COVID.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fucking crazy too, you know?
Right, like strip clubs are necessary.
They stayed open.
They stayed open and then necessary. Just put a mask on her face. We don't care about the face anyway.
So fucked up. Nah, but like, so when I was going to this one, the girls were like, "Oh, what are you afraid of COVID? What are you afraid of COVID?" They were making a game out of it because they were just out there the whole time and they saw what it was, you know.
I'll tell you what, baby, COVIDify my cock. Okay? Put all that COVID saliva all over my cock and balls.
That right there should be a T-shirt, Perry.
COVIDify my cock. Yes, that should be a T-shirt. You're right.
With a chicken on it.
With a chicken. Yes, my God. A chicken with like measles.
Yeah.
COVIDify my cock.
Jesus.
Here they come.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think if there's anything else. This thing's about to run out of battery, but is there anything else you want to say, Perry?
Yeah. Hello, young lovers, wherever you are. I know your troubles are. Yeah. That's a little fucking early 50s fucking tune that I probably heard when I was in a fucking basket somewhere. Start off in a basket. I wonder if I'll end up in a basket.
Arkansas. Nice.